Look like you seen a ghost or something?
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Mark Dark, and I'm back with another video. If you're new, if you love power, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like the video, and leave your theories, comments, everything down below. Now today we'll be talking about Power Book 2 Ghost Season 3, Episode 5. This is the recap. Now I'm going to try my best to focus on all the key points in this episode. If I miss anything, you guys let me know down below. And I guess it's sad to say, but we smoking on that Lorenzo pack, man, and we already knew this was coming. And your girl Monet, she set up everything. But the question is, what's going to happen when her family finds out? We talking about the same family that she's tried so hard to keep together, but we know once this secret gets out, the family is not going to be the same again. And your girl Dirty Diana, she gonna lose it. We know Kane gonna lose it. Drew, he will be upset, especially once he realizes Gordo took out his pops and he's hooking up with Gordo each and every episode. He's definitely going to be in his feelings once he finds out the truth. And in this episode, we saw your girl Lauren, she popped back up, and this time she ran into Tariq and she let him know the truth about what really happened to her. So now he has to deal with all those lies from Brayden and Effie. And what's going to happen when he finally confronts them? Well, it ain't going to be pretty. We already know he's going to put hands on Brayden and he's going to go off on Effie. So I cannot wait to see it. But we're going to hop right into this recap. Like I told you guys, if I miss anything, y'all let me know down below. Now, what did we see in episode 5 titled No More Second Chances? Now, the episode starts out with Jenny Sullivan. She's, questioning Monet. She trying to catch Monet slipping, asking her about her gun and how she got it out, how she knew. I mean, this girl ain't playing around. Luckily, Monet didn't slip up. Davis MacLean, he was there and he made sure that she didn't mess up at all. But y'all know Jenny and Blanca Rodriguez, they're going to continue to put the pressure on Monet and her entire family. And Lorenzo, he was pissed off talking about why you're treating my wife like she's a suspect. She is the victim. Like, are you crazy? Now, after they leave, Davis MacLean tells her, you need to watch your back and you need to watch your every move because now it's going to be a lot more heat on you and your entire family. And this is what I was talking about. I mean, yeah, Monet took out Detective Kevin Whitman, but all that's going to do is bring more heat from law enforcement. And you already know they ain't going to be playing around. Now, we get to the class discussion, second chances, and they got your boy Rashad Old Dog Tate. He is in there dropping that knowledge, and the class is doing the normal class discussion, going back on different viewpoints of the topic of discussion. Now, Tariq gets the text from Monet. She's asking him to find out where IG was at the night that Freaky Zeke got dropped off. And he goes to Rashad Tate telling him, like, look, you should look into this, you know what I'm saying? Because this can be a big drop for the feds, and they would love to have this type of press. So now Rashad Tate's going to check in with Jenny Sullivan to make sure this is actually true. But we know later on in the episode, he's going to be pissed off because we already know IG didn't do it. But Rashad Tate, he was even more upset because Tariq gave him that intel and it was a lie. Now, we get to Westing Holdings, and now it is time to plan for the trip to Italy, and they're going to have RSJ there. Now, Lucas, he does not want Tariq going at all to meet up with these clients or these potential clients, right? A tech company, and RSJ believes that he can, better the negotiations if he is the one that goes. Lucas does not want Tariq going, but RSJ is like, man, that's crazy because how is Tariq good enough to make the deal with me, but he's not good enough to go to Italy, seeing that he's the only one in this room that speaks Italian. So it makes all the sense in the world for him to go, for him to be able to translate, and he can help, better the deal. And Tariq is going to end up bringing Effie as well, seeing that she's an engineer major and she specializes in robotics. So everybody's getting ready for this crazy trip to Italy. Now, Tariq meets up with Monet, tells her that his source let him know that IG was not the one that took out Freaky Zeke. I believe they said he was in the Dominican Republic, so he couldn't have done it. So now Monet's like, really? He didn't do it. It makes her believe even more that Lorenzo was the one that did this, especially seeing that IG didn't do it and Lorenzo's fingerprints was at the crime scene. Now, Monet, she has, to question Kane about where did he get this information from as far as IG doing this. And Kane, he didn't want to say it, but then he's like, man, Lorenzo told me he did it. And y'all know Monet, she's like, okay, so I see what time it is. And Monet is like, you just gonna believe that? But in Kane's perspective, he's like, well, it's Pops. He ain't just a average person. It's Pops. Even though Kane knows the truth that Lorenzo did it, he's going to continue to protect his father and not necessarily tell Monet that he was the one that did it. But we know later on in the episode, Kane tells Lorenzo, maybe you should just let her know because she is starting to figure it all out. And if you don't tell her, you already know it's going to get worse if you continue to wait. Now everybody's getting ready to go on this trip. Tariq and Effie are taking a selfie, having a good old time. I guess this is the quiet before the storm. Of course, Tariq does thank RSJ for, fighting for him to be able to go on this trip. And then after that, we see Brayden. This man drops his phone. Like, really? You dropped your phone. Kiki picks it up, and now she can see all the transactions that's going on. And she understands, like, okay, he's up to something. How is he getting all this profit? She doesn't question Brayden because she wasn't able to get that chance to do it because of what happened to him in Italy. But you already know she's going to talk about that in next week's episode. Now, Jenny Sullivan, she is pissed off because of what happened to Detective Kevin Whitman. She is putting pressure on Cooper Saxe to get the job done, to get more intel because she's tired of all of this. Blanca Rodriguez does bring up information about the Russians and how one of them got dropped off, and they believe that the Tejadas, they took them out in order to be the Castillo's connect. And she probably would have got that 100% confirmation if her CI's information, or at least the items, that phone, was not taken and destroyed by Drew and Gordo later on in the episode. Now, Kane is having a final drink with his pops, Lorenzo. He is telling him, like, look, I think Monet knows something. She's not believing this IG dude took out Zeke. And he believes Lorenzo probably should just be telling her the truth before she figures it out, because that's exactly what she's doing. Lorenzo's like, man, I don't know about that. And he doesn't think it's going to change anything, which at the end of the day, based on what we saw in this episode, I guess it really didn't. But the sad part was Monet was already setting up the game plan to take out Lorenzo before he told her the truth anyway. Man, I cannot wait till this whole Drew and Gordo thing blows over, because when Drew finds out that Gordo took out his pops and Drew is messing around with him, it's going to hit a little bit hard, man. And in the episode, Gordo gets intel about the redneck being the CI and that he's, I guess, close by in the hospital. So Gordo is planning on taking him out with the help of Drew, but they're surprised once they get there because it's full of law enforcement. Now, we get to Monet and she has decided to go to Evelyn. And once I saw Evelyn in those exclusive pictures for this episode, I already knew what time it was. I knew Monet was going to tell her that Lorenzo was the one to put out that hit on Frank, which is not true. Lorenzo had nothing to do with it. It was Kane that did this, right? Because Uncle Frank was a rat, so he had to go. Now, she tells her this, and Evelyn is like, man, why are you telling me this? You know what I'm saying? Because you know what happened. Like, I'm not really feeling it. You know what I'm saying? She's talking about how she doesn't really want to be trying to get revenge, and it can mess up everything within the family, her boys, and Monet's family. But Monet knew exactly what she was doing by doing this, y'all. And this is exactly what she wanted to happen, because we know later on in the episode, it was over for your boy Lorenzo. And we got Monet to thank for that. But even though Monet told her this information, you can, tell that Evelyn, she still ain't trusting Monet like that. Because she was like, man, so now you decide to tell me this information? Like, why did you wait? And we already know this is just the build up before the Castillo family and the Tejada family go at it with one another. Now, RSJ, Tariq, Brayden, and Kiki, they end up exposing this Novona Tech company, and they tell them, like, look, we know y'all got some patent issues or whatever, and y'all try to hide it, but we know what time it is. We can take those issues away, but we're going to need a 20% ownership profit. And RSJ tells them that they got to the end of the day to respond. I mean, he can make that whole thing legitimate for them, but they have to make this move. If they don't, it ain't gonna be looking too good for them. Now, Tariq is, actually having a date with Effie. He tells her about the little deal that they just did with the Novona company or whatever, and how they tried to lowball them, but they got exposed. And Tariq thanks Effie for her assistance. Now, Noma and Obi pop up to the party. They already knew that Tariq and them was already going out to Italy, and seeing how they went out there with RSJ, they can use that as an advantage in order to get in Francisco's little get-togethers he be having, which he only invites a certain, type of person, right? Or people. And she tells them, like, look, Francisco, he was her ex, and he is, her competitor, or arms competitor. And Mecca planted a listening device on his property somewhere, and she needs Tariq to find it without him knowing about this, right? So like I told you guys last night, this man Tariq is about to go on a Splinter Cell type of a mission, and he's going to need the help of his friends Effie and Brayden. But we know Brayden, man, that dude, he always slips up. And that's exactly what he did in this episode once again. But at least he was able to find that listening device before he got hemmed up. Now, Blanca CI did not make it. He up out of here. And they end up telling Blanca that they have, his phone and information stored away. And Drew and Gordo, they hear this and they're like, okay, we know what time it is. Now they end up paying off the lady at the desk, and it was able to get this CI's information, to get that phone and those items. And y'all know Blanca, she was pissed off. She went there and old girl acted like she didn't know nothing. She told Blanca that his family already picked up his items. Blanca could not believe it at all. I guess she should have been a little bit quicker than that. Now, they go through the phone and luckily they get it because they see the pictures of Lorenzo and Brayden there, and this would have been easy work for Blanca. My question is this: why didn't this dude send this stuff off? I could have sworn he sent them, but I guess he didn't. And now, hey, Blanca can't get that intel. Now, RSJ and Tariq are having a conversation, and I swear every time they talk, Ghost always comes up in the topic of discussion. He's telling Tariq that he knew a little bit about, his story or whatever, and that it sounds like his pops had two faces, one private, one public. And I'm pretty sure he knows exactly who Ghost is. I mean, why you keep bringing him up? But he does tell Tariq he doesn't have to, live in those expectations of his father. He can be something different. He can be better. He can be himself, just like he did as far as his story and with his pops. Talking about his pops used to run numbers, but he decided to, go a different route. Y'all let me know down below. Do y'all believe RSJ really knew who Ghost was? The crazy thing is RSJ has talked about Tariq's father more than any character on the show, at least new characters, besides like Rashad Tate or whatever. But the Tejada family, they ain't said nothing about Ghost or whatever. Remember I told you guys we were supposed to get something out of Lorenzo as far as what he knew about Ghost, but I guess we never got that from him because he got dropped off in this episode. But like I told you guys, do y'all believe this man RSJ has a little bit more intel on Ghost, or is he just bringing him up for the heck of it? Now, Brayden and Effie, they go into one of the rooms to try to get, that listening device. Brayden actually finds it, but he ends up getting caught by one of Francisco's guards, and man, it ain't looking too good for him. I mean, he didn't know what to do. The dude hemmed him up. Next thing we know, Effie, she has to go in there. She was able to retrieve the listening device, but she runs into a guard. Now, Effie just flirted with the dude, made it seem like she liked him and needed some help, and that was it. Now they have to find out where Brayden was taken. Now, we get to the last Tejada family dinner when everybody is there. You know what I'm saying? Because we know Lorenzo, he ain't making it into another one. But luckily, he was able to cook on this one. Now, Lorenzo takes Diana to the back, tells her, like, look, you ain't got to worry about selling drugs no more. You good. Just focus on school. You going to graduate and, you're going to have a good life. You don't have to be in the game. And Diana, she is so happy. But hey, we know this story ain't going to end well. I mean, Lorenzo is doing whatever it takes to keep the family together and good, but it ain't going to matter. Now, Brayden is hemmed up, and Francisco's boys, they is beating this dude down. He wants to know who Brayden is working for. Brayden is like, look, man, I was just looking for something. My family, they rich. The Westings, just look them up. We got you. They will give you whatever you want. Now, this dude, he's already looked up Brayden. He said, yeah, I know about your family, and I know about your little drug issues that you had back in the U.S. So let me ask you once again, who are you working for? And of course, Brayden, he can't give him any intel. Now, Kiki, she comes to Tariq and Effie trying to figure out where Brayden is at because she probably wants to ask him some questions about what she saw on his phone. Effie kind of brushes her off, telling her, look, he'll be there in the morning. Don't worry about Brayden. So be it, right? Now, they have to figure out how they're going to get Brayden back. And Tariq is like, look, we can use this device to leverage and, maybe we can get him back. And they set up a game plan to do so. Now, Monet and Gordo, they have a conversation before he goes in there and sees Drew. And this conversation alone should have let everybody know, if they didn't know already, that Gordo is going to be the one that takes out Lorenzo. He pretty much said it. He said, I wish I can, slit the throat of the person that took out my pops. The crazy thing is, we know Lorenzo didn't do it. It was Kane. So maybe we're going to see an encounter between them by the end of the season. I hope so. But to be honest, in, Gordo's defense, he was lied to. You know what I'm saying? He just thinking that Lorenzo did this. So all he is doing is avenging his pop. So it is what it is. The sad part is Gordo is messing around with Drew. But Monet, she set all of this up. This is all a part of her, her vengeance game plan. We went over the description of her character. This is what she was fighting against. She wants vengeance and she wants to be in complete control. She's not going to be able to have it all and keep her family together. It ain't happening, especially after what she's done to Lorenzo. All hell's going to break loose within the Tejada family, not just in the next episode, but as the season continues to air out. Now, Cooper Saxe goes to Davis MacLean and tells him that Theo Rollins should be getting out because he found a constitutional violation, so he's going to be good. Davis MacLean wants Cooper Saxe to go down, to the prison with him, but Cooper Saxe is like, nah, he's good. You should do it. You should be the one to tell him this, this news. Now, Cooper Saxe, he sticks around and he goes into Davis MacLean's, drawer, and he sees the file that he put up, and he notices that it is a copy of Detective Kevin Whitman's, police file that was stolen. And he's trying to, text Jenny Sullivan to let her know about this news, this information. But you already know she's ducking and dodging and she's lying. The last thing that she wanted to do was lie to Cooper Saxe. This is a guy that's getting all the intel for you, but you want to lie to him. If she would have just told him the truth from the jump, she probably would have been good with this whole Lauren thing. Now, Tariq and Effie, they meet up with Francisco and they're trying to get Brayden back. They want to give him this listening device. He wants to know who Tariq is working for. He keeps bringing up Mecca's name, but y'all know Tariq ain't about to give him no types of intel. Now, Noma, she shows up and she starts spraying. She got shooters on the cliff. They headshotting. They ain't playing around. She tells Tariq, like, good job. You know what I'm saying? It was a good game plan luring him out here in order for me to eliminate him. And now, seeing that he is out of the picture, I will take over, the business. And that means it's going to be more, work for everybody. So we all good. She tells Tariq, like, look, you're more clever than I thought, and your little trial period is up. This girl Noma don't play around. And Tariq is seeing just how dangerous she really is. Now, Effie was able to get a picture from Francisco's private collection, and we noticed that Noma and him, they were in a relationship, and they had a daughter. So that means it's a girl out there. And Effie is like, look, this is her weakness. If we can get to this girl, we can stop Noma from being on our backs. Tariq is like, man, that sounds good, but it's kind of dangerous. You seen what she just did to her baby's, father. I mean, she ain't playing around. She's a straight up savage. Your girl Noma takes out her baby's dad, and pretty much Monet does the exact same thing. I mean, they dropping off daddies just like that. If you a daddy in power, you getting dropped off. No fathers are allowed in this show. Hell, no fathers are allowed in the Power universe. It's whether you gonna get shot or somebody gonna take you out. Y'all let me know. Now, Lorenzo finally decides to tell Monet the truth because he knows she's about to find out, or most likely she already knows. And Monet is pissed off, like, dude, you waited all these months to tell me the truth. Now, Lorenzo's like, look, it was a mistake. He didn't mean to do it. And he brings up the fact that Monet was the one that brought Freaky Zeke there in the first place. You know what I'm saying? She brought him around this lifestyle. So just as much as it is his fault, she has to take some of that blame as well. And this is what we was talking about last season, that Monet was the one that brought him around this. And you know what I'm saying? You can't just put the blame on one person. Everybody has to get their fair share. But I don't care what nobody say. Deep down inside Monet, she got to be feeling like, man, I should have never brought him around it. And she even, pretty much mentioned it at the beginning of the season about just allowing him to stay, I guess, at North Carolina or whatever. So y'all know it's eating her up inside, but she just wants that vengeance. She wants to feel good. The sad part is, even though she's going to get that vengeance, it's not going to bring back Freaky Zeke. He gone. Now, Cooper Saxe, he follows Jenny Sullivan. He understands that she's lying to him, and he wants to know, what is she hiding? So he goes to the spot that Lauren is at, and, he talks to Jenny. He's like, okay, so what's going on? What are you hiding from me? If you're not telling me what I need to know, I can just walk. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be a part of any of this. Your girl, Lauren, she comes down, and she's like, look, what is he talking about? Is he telling the truth? Or are you lying? And we know Cooper Saxe just exposes Jenny, telling her, you've been lying to Lauren. You've been lying to me. You betrayed me. Tariq had nothing to do with Lauren being, allegedly taken out. And he tells Lauren, like, look, Tariq had feelings for her. He loved her. He didn't do this. He's pissed off. Lauren is pissed off. And now Jenny, she has slipped up. As I told you guys earlier, the last thing that she wanted to do was lose Cooper Saxe and lie to him. If she would have just told him the truth, things could have played out a little bit different. He does tell Lauren, like, look, she cannot legally keep you here, which pretty much gives Lauren the okay to say, okay, I'm going to leave and meet up with Tariq and, talk to him my damn self. And that's exactly what she does. She texts him and they meet up on campus. She's in all black. She got a box cutter and she wants to know, like, did you have anything to do with me allegedly being taken out? Tariq is like, nah, he didn't know anything about this. He tried to protect her. This is why he sent her with Brayden, because he thought, she was going to be put in protection. But that was not the case. And now Tariq understands that Brayden and Effie has been lying to him this entire time. And he is upset. And Lauren tells him, like, look, it ain't just being the feds that you got to worry about. You got to worry about those two so-called friends. And Lauren also tells him that no one can know that she's alive. So how long is Tariq going to keep this secret? How long will he continue to protect Lauren? Now, I know Tariq was thinking about his next move as far as how he wants to address Effie and Brayden. And you can tell he was pissed off. Effie was asking him, where has he been? And of course, he told her, look, I went on a walk or whatever. But in next week's episode, you already know it's about to go down. Now we get to the end of the episode. Lorenzo, he's going to his trunk trying to get a spare tire. And then Gordo decides to slit his throat just like he told Monet he wished he can do to the person that took out his pops. And that's exactly what he ended up doing. The sad part is we know Kane was the one that did that. And now Lorenzo, he ain't here no more. Gordo took this dude out right in front of the big picture, the big mural of your boy Freaky Zeke. Like, really? It would happen right there. And it makes the storyline a little bit more interesting because now seeing how Lorenzo has been taken out by Gordo and seeing how Kane has took out Frank, this will be a big war between the Tejada family and the Castillos probably by the end of the season, because we know Kane, he don't mess with them anyway. And y'all know Drew, he gonna be upset once he realizes that Gordo was the one that did this. The sad part is, in the episode 6 description, it's talking about how the Castillos are going to help the Tejada family enact revenge and stuff like that. Pretty much trying to act like they had nothing to do with it. But we know secrets and power, they don't last at all. They don't last. Now, at the end of the episode, we can see the Tejada family having a good old time. And y'all know Monet, she gets that text, that confirmation that your boy Lorenzo ain't here anymore. And she has that little smirk on her face. Well, I guess you're going to laugh now and cry later, because I can guarantee you she going to be crying later, because her family, they are about to flip out. If she wanted to keep the family together, it ain't happening based off her actions. And y'all already know she going to have a hard time, a very hard time, keeping the family together after they find out what she's done. And don't be surprised if they try to come at her. I already know Dirty Diana, she gonna be on one. She's gonna flip out. As I told you, Kane gonna flip out. Drew he gonna be upset too. It's gonna get crazy by the end of the season, and I cannot wait to see it. Now, I want you guys to leave your theories, predictions. Leave it all down below. Let me know exactly how did y'all feel about Power Book 2 Ghost Season 3, Episode 5, the mid-season finale. It was crazy. It was another banger, and I cannot wait to see what's next. But I want to thank you guys once again for all the love, all the support, and I will catch y'all on the next one. But let me get up on out of here, man. It's your boy Mark Dark. I'm out. Peace.